and welcome back to Piper's Pit. Now, listen, before I get to my first guest today, which is going to be a melee, it's none other than Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh! There's lots of stuff going on. I try to keep you up to speed, you know. So, like, you know, I've got a soda pop out. And it's Rowdy Piper's all out of bubble gum. And it's flying off the shelf. It's Rocket Fizz's hottest selling drink. And then folks wanted to know, well, if they can't get it from Rocket Fizz and they want an autographed copy, where can they get it from? Well, of course, RowdyPiper.com. You go right there. But it was pretty cool here. The first bottle went to Sweden. Baby, we be worldwide. So I'm kind of proud of this one because, you know, everything I do, I do myself, and I try to put originality into it for you. I got, you know, the WWE voted me the greatest villain in the history of professional wrestling. Holy cow, what an honor. So you go to RowdyPiper.com. And there is a very cool black T-shirt that says Villain. And in gold writing, Rowdy Piper. You can get that there too. And it's original. Nobody's bootlegging it. You can have a blast with it. And then they're making, you know, my life never stops. It's like, I'm definitely going to die with a sword in my hand. Because the next thing they got a graphic novel coming out about me. Are you ready for this? Wrestling is just my day job. My night job, Roddy Piper, monster killer. So Team Edward, Team Jacob, get out of the way. The big old dog is moving in to kill some monsters. So you can go to RowdyPiper.com. You can find that too. I'm laughing because I know Hacksaw's coming on, and you know I'm dreading it. If you watched any of Legend House, I had to roommate with him. So, you know, we're going to get to that. But there's one more really, really cool thing, and it's the last time I'll be able to do this. I'm doing a tour in the UK, in Scotland, Ireland, England. I'm going to be over there. I'm going to do about 14 shows in July. I think it's Europe Comedy that is sponsoring it. I understand the tickets are going real well. I'm coming over there to give you a show like you've never seen before. And it's called Behind the Villain. I'm going to show you a picture that will scare the barnacles off you. So I'm really excited about coming over there and doing that in the UK. I think I get there around July the 12th. It's going to be a hard schedule. I'm going to be rolling hard. So listen, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to be walking into your venue with my black leather jacket, my villain T-shirt on, and my shit-kicking boots. I'm there to, you know, chew bubblegum or kick ass, whichever one you want. But I love you all, so I hope we just chew gum and laugh and cry. And, you know, we cry because we got to be roommates with Jim Duggan, who is coming here very soon on the show. Now, for those of you that maybe don't know everything about Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I learned a lot about him in Legend House, before I even knew Duggan very well, I think it was Miami, and, you know, like, I never came out of the dressing room, or my dressing room, until I heard the bagpipes, because I just didn't want to be standing around, and once I heard those bagpipes, boom, you know, I was gone. And I'm in Miami, you know, I don't know, I'm tired. Morocco's there. Bobby Orton, Ace is there. They just got finished. You know, the Tonky Tonk man is still trying to figure out how to look like Elvis. Can't play the damn guitar. Can't sing. I don't know how he's an Elvis impersonator, but you know what? That's why I hate him. So I'm just hanging around in the hallway, and I hear them bagpipes. And I'm in the starting blocks, and I'm going to head on in, and all of a sudden, stark naked, running down the hall full tilt is Hacksaw Jim Duggan with soap all over, lathered like Seabiscuit. Just ran the race again and squeezed me, hugged me, and went, "Soap monster!" I got all this soap in my eyes and my nose and my hair, and boom, pushed me out in front of the crowd. Like, I'm sorry, what's your name again? And who would know that, I don't know, 15 years later, I'd have to share a room with a soap monster. You see, I got reasons for having more issues than TV Guide, as Hillbilly Jim put it. And I don't know if you've seen Legends House, but you know, if you're kicking around doing nothing, take a look. So hey, this is what it is. I'm making bacon here. I got kids I'm putting through school, and I'm creating new things. When I go over to the UK, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of the most ungodly podcasts over there, things you have never heard of. I know you love to hear the wrestlers. I know JR's doing a great job. Chris Jericho's doing a great job. Stone Cold's doing a great job. I always like to come from another place, and I like to create things that have never been done. So there's a haunted house over there I heard about. There's a haunted castle over there I heard about. I'm going to be bringing those podcasts back. I'm going to be a busy guy. So, you know, I don't know. That's why I'm Hot Rod, you know, and you're not, Ric Flair. Now, Ric Flair, I love you to death. I saw you the other day, you know. You're starting to look like Bruno Sammartino with that comb over. I say just go for it, Flair. Just shave that 3 blonde strands off, and I'll love you anyway. Boy, I'm going to pay for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, the one and only Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, back with Piper's Pit again on Podcast 1, the hottest rising podcast in the world. Just go ahead and ask Adam Carolla. You go, who? The guy's a bud now. But I have a special guest on. I don't know if you know him. He's deer. He's a deer. Yes. Or sometimes he's a moose. I'll introduce him in a second. You know, this is the only kind of words I want to get in. He's a really nice fella. You know, kinder to children than the Waltons. Looks like a Muppet. This is the first time I've actually talked with him away from a thing I did called Legends House, which was, I don't know if you've heard about it, Satan runs it in West Palm Beach. You know, I just thought it'd be fun for you guys, because, you know, for me, it's going to be a real stab to the heart, to ask any questions, Twitter, whatever you want, to ask this gentleman. And so I could do 30 minutes on him, but I know he can do 45 on me. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, at 265 pounds, from Glen Falls, New York, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh!
If you're gonna hear it, home like you made it. Home!
Home, home!
And I'm not talking gardening today, baby. Hello, Pipe. How are you, my friend?
Holy cow. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Not long enough, but a long time. I meant...
Well, with that introduction, I thought you had somebody else. Nice guy and all that. I'm like, who's he going to talk to?
You know, for people out there that don't know, that are under a rock or something, Hacksaw... I don't know, I was Hacksaw's roommate, or Hacksaw was my roommate, in a reality show you can see on the WWE Network called Legends House. And Rod's a little hard to get along with. Well, you know, it's just I'm a little bit of a loner guy, and So when we came in, nobody knew who was coming into this Legend House. They just started coming one at a time, and all of a sudden I found out I got to share a room with somebody, which is like, I'd rather lay on nails. And I come and I look, and it's like one of the biggest, toughest guys. There's a picture. Not only that, he's got a 2x4, so he's come packing.
And rabbit ears.
And rabbit ears. He was, holy cow, folks! I gotta tell you, that Legends House. As much as I bitched about it, I laughed more. You just for okay. So we're supposed to go LARPing. This is what Hacksaw was just referring to. And LARPing, if you don't know what that is, it's called live action role play, because we didn't know what it was. And you go and you get these costumes from like the Renaissance. So I don't know, I'm looking for kilts. There's Hacksaw, and he's got some Playboy bunny ears on.
I got the legs for it.
You got the, and he's doing the bunny bounce over, and he gets all dressed up, and he looks fine in fur, and we're out there. Go.
It was fun. When we get there, like you said, they said you have to have a roommate. And, like, I'm the same way. I haven't had a roommate since college. And they're like, you're rooming with Piper. I'm like, oh, who did I piss off, So, anyway, with the first 2 days, we just kind of eyeballed each other. But it's funny, Piper, the two of us, the friendship grew. I think the fans, what they call it, the bromance between Piper and Duggan.
That's a nice way to be labeled.
From just being acquaintances to friends to becoming very, very good friends. It was a fun time, and it was good to get to know each other.
Yeah, it was. The one thing, and I'll get back to it, but the one real side I got to see of Hacksaw was Jim Duggan was when he brought his beautiful family into LA for a vacation, and the two most beautiful little daughters, so polite, so all right, and his wife just a real great mommy, great lady.
And it's funny, we hit it off, and our daughters hit it off. Ariel, Celia, Rebecca, everybody got along. I mean, I say, being Piper are friends. Now our families are friends. Look forward to down in New Orleans, though. Last time we were together at the Legend House, they kind of kept us apart, though. I think we had so much fun at the actual show, that reunion show, they kind of kept us apart until you had to babysit me a little bit. But that's another story.
But it was a long, hard process in Legend House, and I don't think I would have made it if it wasn't for Hacksaw and Hacksaw's sense of humor. I still, I always give the same basic one, and this is there's nobody, like, people were saying to me, like, well, they told you to do this and this and that. No, they didn't.
They just let us go.
Yeah, I mean,
who could write the blender scene anyway?
Oh, you had to bring that up, huh?
Everybody else has, so I figure why not?
That friggin' blender.
WrestleMania 31 Piper versus the blender.
I couldn't figure, and man, I'm not a real happy camper in the morning. I don't know if you noticed.
What do you mean the mornings?
And I'm looking at this blender, and I'm upside down. I'm looking at, and I'm trying to be like really cool, like it's not bothering me, and I can't figure it out. And Hacksaw comes by and says, "Well, just shake it. You want to just keep going there, bud? Just shake it. Don't turn it on.
Move along there, fella."
And then I leave it for a second. He comes over, and I don't know what he does, pushes something, and the thing starts up.
Yeah, I'm real mechanically inclined.
Holy cow!
But it was the whole group of us. So I mean, we got to know each other all pretty well. I knew Jimmy Hart a little bit. I knew Hillbilly, but I mean, Pat Patterson, I didn't know Pat at all.
No,
he was always management. I was always labor. I never messed with him. Jim Okerlund just did interviews. Tony Atlas. I butted heads with Tony Atlas for 30 years, so that wasn't going to change.
So like, this is something I wasn't aware of. I am now, of course, but that's was a chemistry that never worked from the day you met him, huh? With you?
No, but it was always in a dressing room, locker room situation where he was on his end of the room, I was on my end. We'd say hello and leave each other alone. You
Gotcha.
put 8 guys in the house for 5 weeks together, especially what a unique group of personalities. It's going to be a little fireworks. But Tony had trouble with everybody. I can understand him having trouble with me and Piper. We're a pain in the butt ourselves. But, I mean, to have trouble with Hillbilly Jim, he's like a Buddhist monk, I mean, Tony had trouble with Jimmy Hart, Pat, and Hillbilly, which is amazing, but he covered everybody. He covered all the bases. What a pain in the ass.
right across the loop.
And people, that's another one people ask. Did they ask you to spice that up? I said they didn't even spice that up, brother.
Okay. For those people, so the producers, like we're put in there, and we're not allowed to go back, or we're not allowed to see any of the equipment or whatever. And I see what's going on, and I don't know if I've told anybody this. I finally went back to the producers that thought they were just, doing a great job, and which Knuckle Production kind of did, but and I said, hey, I got a question for you. When these 300-pounders go at it, who's going to stop them?
Yeah.
And they kind of looked at me. I'm not. We have a rule. And I remember one time, you remember Poughkeepsie, Adrian Adonis. Yeah. So the Iron Sheik, we're up on the stage, right? And it's about like 11 o'clock, and everybody's just, trying to grab their ass with both hands. And the Sheik's got his rug down, and he's on his knees with the rug praying, I guess, whatever he does.
I didn't know where you were going to go with
that. He was on his stomach, it's unusual for him. But and then Adrian Adonis, he just blindly comes out of the dressing room and just stepped on the fringe of the rug, didn't even know it. Up the Sheik is, up Adrian is. They go at it. They fall off the stage. Not one of us moves. We eat our chicken. They're finished. We just can't. And that's the way it is in our business. You don't
it's a snake pit of tough guys.
Yeah, it is. And you don't we're taught. It's none of our business. So these producers, what they didn't. What I told, I said, hey, dude, this ain't Jersey Shore. Everybody's going to get hurt, and the show's going to be shut down. Right. And that's the first time they kind of went, oh, one
different.
Yeah, different, big time. Guys,
no flat fight. You'd be biting, gouging eyes, regular wrestling type deal.
yeah. Well, now I want to share something with the fans so they know. Hacksaw is a man's man, and I come in the kitchen. It's kind of later at night. And I look over where the counter is to eat. First thing I see Hacksaw, and his hair's up in a bun. I go, uh-oh. Because the reason his hair's up in the bun, no handles, okay? And I look, and in his right hand is a little bottle of Tabasco sauce. I'm sure he's not interested in putting that on his rice. And I look over on the other side, and there's Tony pretending to do something, like right.
That was a shot.
That was a shot, yeah. And the silence was deafening. And I remember, hey, they're my brothers. And I don't think they know how close that one night that, like Tony, and for those who don't know this, Tony brought a tape into Legend's house and showed it to anybody that wanted to see the thing. And what the tape was Tony's head down on the concrete. Pardon me. And Tony's head down on the concrete, and a lady with high heels on, kicking him in the head as hard as she could. And Tony's really proud of this tape. And the feet thing. is hard. Like Hacksaw says to me, he says, well, we know where not to go. No damage to be done there.
You get a hard on.
Well, now that would suck, wouldn't it? I fought Tony Atlas. He beat me and got a hard on.
A couple times, it really did, but thank goodness, it wouldn't have been good for anybody.
No.
Nobody was going to come out clean on that one.
No, nobody.
And a couple times, I know you, when we were doing the Flock o' Flamingos, we did our commercial. Tony went off on you,
I know. He says,
he's a prima donna. I couldn't believe a guy that old, that established in our profession would act like a little wuss. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so you guys going to have to go and watch the Flock o' Flamingos. But the first thing, so we got to make these commercials, and we're in teams, and this van drives up. They open the door, and I don't know, 30 plastic pink flamingos fall out. Huh?
300.
And then little yellow ducks. Really? Hacksaw, did you order these for me or what? Another rib? And so we got to put on a commercial and get it done by the end of the day. First thing Tony says, I'll handle the camera. That's because you lazy ass, you don't want to get out there and have to do your job. And it's simple as that. And then when it come to editing that, Tony wanted to, first of all...
He wouldn't even take no suggestions from Piper, who's been in countless movies, and Piper says, can you just take the camera off the stand and walk? No, I'm running the camera.
And I want, I really want...
blast on Tony, but
no, it's good, it's good, I like it. He's not here, let's really ram it right up his ass.
I think we had more laughs in serious time, though, especially you and me.
Holy cow!
Everything was a joke for us. Piper, on the cliffs of Acapulco, diving into the pool, the Mason-Dixon line that we put down the middle of the room.
Yes,
it was funny. You go in everybody else's room, stuff's hanging up in the closet, things are in the drawers, beds made. You come in mine and Piper's room. We did scattered everywhere, except mine was on the south side, his was on the north side.
That's it. Had a big roll of white wrestlers tape. You don't come over here, I don't come over there. It worked out. Somehow, if you look back at it, what's either the most humiliating or embarrassing or thing that you like the least? And I don't know if there is the best.
Well, I think probably the most humiliating was also the funniest when we were doing the newly roommate game. And, of course, we were kind of cheating just a little bit.
Well,
not as bad as Jimmy Hart was, that's for sure.
Everyone was cheating. We're wrestlers.
Everybody was cheating. They asked me, what's Piper's favorite food? I'm like, pot roast. I didn't even know that. That's ridiculous.
So, for those who don't know, we're playing, it's kind of like the newlywed game but they say the newly roommate, okay? And good guy, a friend of mine that they pulled in to do I can't remember his name just a second, but real good guy anyway. And so it was time for Hacksaw and those guys to leave the room, and they're going to ask us questions, and then they come back. And as we're, they're getting makeups and stuff, and they're transferring things, and I hear there's going to be a question, what's the most important thing in the guy's life? Okay? And I hear the question. Well, one of the guys is doing the microphone on me. I go, and he had a pen, and I gently pulled it out, and on my hand, I put the word. And then I put it back. All right. So now I'm so proud of myself, too. I'm just a neater, keener guy. So now here we come back to, the 184,000 camera room. And Hacksaw comes in and sits down. And I don't mean this in any disrespect, but, if he doesn't have his glasses on, he couldn't see a groundhog in front of him, Many of us have paid the price for that anyway. And I realize he doesn't have his glasses on. And so now I'm trying to figure out by moving my hand closer and away whether he's farsighted or nearsighted. And he's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? Because he can't see. Finally, after a month and a half of flag, smoke, Morse code, I get the hand, and Hacksaw looks at me. I mean, with the confidence of Jesus, and gives me the thumbs up. Yes. And this is for the 40 points. We're going to get it. So it comes to time. And so they say, okay, Hacksaw Jim Duggan for 40 points. What's the most important thing in your life?
And that was so sincere.
The sincerity. And he looks at him and says, life. What did he say? Life.
The most important thing in life is life.
Patterson's looking. What did he say? Life? I can't handle it anymore. I said, look, does that look like life? Wife! You've been talking about your wife for 2 friggin' days.
I mean, everybody lost it. The production people, the camera guys, the rest of the crew. Oh. Everybody was dying because I'm like, well, knowing Roddy the way I do, I know the feet say the most important thing in life is life itself.
We're back to concussions. We need to take a break. We'll be right back. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, great stuff. Oh, baby Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back at Piper's Pit, and we have the honor of having Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
You're being awful nice to me today, Pipe. I don't know what's up. I keep looking behind me.
It's like the first day they asked us, did they tell you to do anything? Like, no. And if they did, I wouldn't remember it anyway. That's why I am.
I would have done it anyway.
Nah.
Don't ask Piper to do it. That's the surest way for him not to do it. Tell him he can't do it. It's done.
That's the truth, isn't it? What's wrong with me?
I'm stupid. I don't know, buddy, but I know that.
We don't have that much time, right? Holy cow. So, like, the first day, like they give us a bundt cake, little round cake, that either one of us could have snorted. And, and what do you want us to do? Oh, bring it to the neighbors next door. You want Jim and I to walk up and knock on the door of some little lady?
As we're walking up the driveway, you can see him in the house pushing 911. They're walking up the driveway now. But that first house was a lot of fun. You remember that young kid, little boy, were on the floor playing with him, and I finally gave him that little cookie to take over to you.
Oh, little cookie! It was a dog biscuit. Just let me start from the beginning.
The wife coach. That's a dog biscuit.
You bastard. You bastard.
I forgot all about that.
Bad boy. From the beginning, first of all, when we knocked on the door and the lady opened it and saw us, the panic in the eyes, but we have a bundt cake, and there we are like, please, could we have some more? And we're being in our most tender voices. We got a bundt cake for you, lady. We're your neighbors. And in we come, and these little kids and like...
Well, they're hiding under the table, but then you probably scarred them for life. Piper gets down on his knees and crawls under the table where they're hiding.
Come on out here. Come on
out here. He's under the table with us.
So while I'm doing all this, all of a sudden, we lose Hacksaw. Where's Hacksaw? So we bring in the dogs, and the big hunt goes on for Hacksaw, and he's in the back room playing Legos with the other 2 kids on his belly.
We had some fun with those folks,
Oh, yeah, we had some fun.
And actually, because one day they were going to make us cook our own meal. We didn't really want to cook, and we tried to do the GPS to order food.
Yes.
They wouldn't let us do that. We said, well, can we call that lady? She'll come over and cook for us. They're like, no, you can't do that neither.
Somehow we got a pizza delivered. I can't remember how.
that was later in the deal. We did get the pizza delivered. Of course, that poor pizza guy was scared to death. We were out front waiting for him, you know.
And then, there was the Great Escape. I never felt so
Piper's in the desert, dude. One time I'm sitting in the kitchen late at night, everybody else is asleep, and I see the producer running around the house. He's running around the house. He's so panicked. He finally runs up to me. He looks at me and goes, Piper's in the desert. I said, don't worry, it'll be okay, kid. The guy goes, not on my watch. So from then on, the guy was called My Watch for the rest of the tour.
Well, my bright idea was this, because, I just saw a street with houses. And it was, I think, the first day, and all of a sudden I can't remember, I just saw an opening to get out. So, boom, I went out. Okay, there's one house, two houses. I'm going, I know I got a bathrobe, but if a car comes, I can, hey, listen, can you give me a ride downtown or, anything? And I come to the last house, and I take a left, and there's nothing but desert and snakes and scorpions.
Scorpions.
And the moon's full. And I'm going you stupid moron. Where am I supposed to go? So, with my tail between my legs, I come back.
That's why. Yeah, you were out there howling at the moon, so when Gary Busey's there saying, I honk at geese, I'm like, well, don't kidding, brother. We were howling at the moon. I was all time geese. I'm like, beginner.
Beginner. The one thing I was kind of sorry that I said, was they said something like, why is Gary Busey here? I said, maybe take motorcycle riding lessons.
Listen, that's the only thing you're sorry for. I got a list of stuff, brother.
But,
And how about Pat? Pat didn't have a clue who the guy was, man.
Not a clue.
Gary Busey?
Yeah. And you know what? Pat was a little foofy about it, too. He wanted, what's your name, Gary Busey? I am Pat Patterson. Well, okay. Well, I am Gary Busey. Well, I am Pat Patterson.
Yeah. And poor Tony was sitting there listening to him like he was a messiah. I mean, every word Gary said was Tony, oh, yes.
I got a Twitter question for you. It says, have you been mailed cases of bubble gum? Yes. For you and Hacksaw. What is the weirdest autograph you've been asked to do, Hacksaw? And this comes from Dale Burke.
Well, Dale, back in the day, you sign all kinds of things, the women's underwear and all that. But I tell you what I signed the most of is 2x4s. Nothing fancy being about Hacksaw and Duggan, just signed the old lumber. Of course, one time I got this huge splinter in my thumb, and I held up in the air. I went, oh! And the rest is history.
Well, it feeds right in this next question by Peter with a last name spelled Pelletier. If I knew how to say it, I wouldn't wrestle. All right? So get off my case. All right? It says, Hacksaw, where did you get the idea of the 2x4? Where did it come from? And is there any funny airport security stories with it?
Actually, both. I originally started carrying the 2x4 back in the early 80s out in West Texas when just getting back and forth to the ring was a challenge. People spit on you and punch you. And they still do that to you, Pipe, but I mean...
And they like me.
I came out waving that 2x4 yelling. It was like parting the Red Sea. The folks scattered. I got back and forth to the ring without a problem. So
I guess you did.
Yeah. I've been carrying it ever since. One time I went over to Italy and the custom agent stopped me and he pulled the board. I got a beautiful felt case I carry my 2x4 in. This guy's punching the board. He's like, "What do you do with board?" And, I got all the guys with me, so I thought that'd be a little funny. I said, I'm building a house piece by piece. He said, sit over there. About 2 hours later, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Don't joke with the custom guys.
Baby. No, the custom guys, I won't tell. Yeah. we'll just move on.
Encyclopedia about stories with viper intestines, guys.
Thank you very much.
Got a picture up there.
I didn't like that. Well, here's another one. Okay, so Chippendales, so they come in. Like, okay, and I'm about to lynch Tony because this is what happened. This is the truth.
I don't think you can say that, Mike.
All right, well,
It might spook him.
This is what happened. You're a guy, you are. So, the car stops. It's a limousine. And, pardon me, everybody gets out. They go to the bathroom, whatever they got to do. Tony's lazy butt. He just stays in because he's too lazy to get out. So then the car goes down, and Tony starts to have some, wicked gas. Wicked.
He soiled his pants.
He soiled his pants. That's the truth. And it's
like a dump.
In the limousine. And, I'm towards the back, and I can't yet quite, the cameramen are suffering, and then finally we figured out what happened. And it's it was stuff like that I know if we hadn't, it was you and me and him in the car, we would just left him.
And Howard.
And Howard.
In the king seat.
In the king seat. You see, when you get into the limousine, in the back of the limousine, the seat on the right-hand side is the king seat. Whoever has a seniority, that's where they sit. But that's a very important seat because it's called...
It's the most comfortable seat in the car.
That's the truth. And very important because it's shotgun. And Hacksaw's been taught this. I've been taught this, beat into both of us. And when, the driver, his job is to keep us on the road. Shotgun, how you get there, where you get there, who's going there, there's the police, there's not, he's doing all the other work. The other guy's keeping you alive. And there we are, and sure as heck, the police pull us over. Because they knew Hacksaw was in the car. And I hate those old warrants. And so now the driver, you got to understand, the driver of a limousine, if he's feeding a family, and if he gets a ticket, then that goes on his license, and it threatens his means of making money for his family. And it's not like this guy was being reckless or danger, and I don't know how much over the speed limit, 10, 15 miles, but I mean, it's a big hit for him. And we hear him through the panel say, hey guys, can you, and there's Howard in the king's chair, the shotgun. It's like, hey Howard, get out now, start talking to that cop. He's sitting, Howard, and the cop's out there, and now he's starting to write the ticket. Which is and Howard, finally, the cop is finished and is walking by the limousine, and Howard opens a window about 2 inches and says, thank you, officer, and close it. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you with Tony's body. I'm going to... Ow. Holy cow. Yes.
But you know what? That's true, but you know what I liked about the Chippendales were you getting waxed. I thought that was very good.
You're such an ass. I don't know why people. Why would you ever? Did you get waxed?
No, they didn't do me.
Just a second. They didn't do you, did they?
No, they didn't.
You son of an unnamed goat. I just realized you were in there with me, I was going through child labor, birth, and you skipped it, didn't you? I didn't know that till right now.
Hiding in plain sight, We got everybody. Yeah, we got everybody. So okay.
Oh, you scoundrel. I'm on there, and this gal, she, this nice, warm thing goes on. Oh, that's lovely. But it's a little near the nipple. That's okay. And you're like, dude, what the was that?
You almost topped her the first time she pulled it off. She called up her fist. I thought you were going to knock her out. I'm like, dude, Holy smokes!
I just didn't expect that, and if you think you're putting that on my pubes, babe, we're gonna take a walk on the wild side here. Come to the jungle.
They pull it on. They said, "Well, we want to pull it off, Hacksaw." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." They said, "Well, just pull it real fast." I'm like, "You can count on it, as slow as I could possibly pull it."
Brutal. And then she would be gearing me up for another one, and you'd go, Hacksaw would go, "Oh, that one's really going to hurt."
So this was really going to hurt.
And all this time, I just realized, you're doing that so you don't get waxed.
They took up too much time.
I can't believe it. It sucked. Anybody out there that's not been waxed, don't get waxed. It's wrong. Don't get waxed. There's guys, a razor, hedge clippers, weed eater. Gotta be other ways. Let the dog gnaw it off your back.
And then how about we were at Chippendales and we're doing that risky business skit, and they say when you're playing the saxophone, everybody comes up on stage. So I'm out there dancing with the women and everything, woo woo, and way in the back of my mind I can hear Duggan.
Well,
I turned around and been playing the sax for about 5 minutes. Piper's yelling at Duggan.
That's because, okay, hang on. So now, to add to the humiliation, got little white bobby socks and tighty whities and a pink shirt and sunglasses. They live sunglasses, acting like Tom Cruise is like, 4'1", -3. And, really? And so now we got to go down with the ladies, which is the first female contact in a while. We didn't mind so much, but then you're supposed to come up on the stage and throw the shirt off and the glasses go down and you turn for the big take. Well, Hacksaw's supposed to be following me. And all of a sudden, they just start closing the curtains before my big take because Hacksaw's out there. He won't come back in. I pull the curtains. Hacksaw, get your butt back in. He wouldn't leave the ladies, And there wasn't one under 80.
Well, that's those women, though, coming to see a bunch of hot Chippendale dancers and 8 wrestlers come out. They're like, I want my money back.
Apparently, you made quite an impression.
That whole thing was so much fun. And, and we just hit it off so well, Pipe. And how many of the fans, I know you, especially on the podcast and the Twitter, I mean, everybody's asking for a buddy cop movie or a mall cop movie with me and you, I tell you.
I'd love to do a show with you. I really would. I don't know what it would be. I don't, just out of water.
And it wouldn't be a huge production cost. Just give us a camera crew and let us go into a Home Depot or a grocery store or somewhere and just be us. I see Stone Cold has got a new show coming out, Skull Island. I saw the commercial for it, or Skull Ranch or something, Broken Skull Ranch. And he's on it this morning saying, I love the smell of combat in the morning. I'm like, only combat you saw was when you were married to Deborah McMichaels. What are you talking about? I said I'd be studying Steve Austin so bad he had to shave his head and change his name.
Holy cow. Deborah McMichaels. I wish he was here so I could see the expression on his face. Holy cow! Yeah, what was his name before Steve?
Stunning Steve.
Stunning Steve.
I think he was one of the ringmasters.
I see. You see, those guys, they during the wars, everybody left, Vince, and then that's when Stone Cold and The Rock and Mick Foley, Triple H, China. What's Sean? The guy going bald. What's his name?
The bad eye.
Yeah, the heartbreak.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, you mean?
Shawn Michaels, that's the one. Yeah, and they were. That's how they got their first break because we were all down south.
And it just goes to show, you love him or hate him, you got to say Vince McMahon. He repackaged all those guys, turned Hunter Hearst Helmsley into Triple H, Stunning Steve into Stone Cold, and just.
What, man? Because I remember, I don't know if you remember this. Eric Bischoff called a meeting, And so, 50 guys in a room. And I know that Flair and Bischoff, they don't particularly like each other. And I'm going to tell you the meeting. So the meeting starts, and Hogan and I are to the right. And Bischoff comes in, and he says to everybody, he says, well, other than Piper and Hogan, who have drawn money, you guys, and I mean, Flair's in the room, right? I don't care.
Oh, I bet.
Well, Little E. And this is what Eric Bischoff says. I'm not sure if I got the number right, but it's pretty close. Within the next 2 or 3 weeks, the WWF will be going out of business. Oh, really? So he made that announcement. I was there. And whatever else was said. Well, what I heard is, again, credit where credit's due. Vincent went in, took out the pop machine, took out everything. And I bet you people don't know this. Everything but the coffee. And you know what, Hacker? I bet you people don't know where the name Raw comes from. I'm going to tell you now, though. And so what Vince did was there was this like little shabby kind of arena. I think it was in Manhattan or wherever it was, and it didn't have the production value, so they called it Raw. It was
the Manhattan Center.
The Manhattan Center, that's it. It was cheaper. It was not pretty, so it was Raw. Bring on the TNA and all that, and the Attitude, and then through pyrotechnics, put a big foot truck in, let guys drink beer and slap them around. I could have got over too. Then what they give me bagpipes?
That's a little known fact, I think, Pipe.
I get. You know what? I don't think anybody or many people know that. That's where the name Rock originally comes from. And now it's like, I don't know, it's over 1,000 episodes consecutively, longest running show in the history of television, et cetera, et cetera. But that's how it's got its name, was Raw. And then, it was cool. WrestleMania 30, so I don't really know The Rock or Steve or Mick Foley at all. Really? And I'm there, and just, give credit where credit's due. The Rock comes over from behind me and grabs me, and he says, hey, I just want to pay my respects, and gives me a hug. And I talked to him about I fought his grandfather, Peter Maivia. And in Hawaii, I wore a T-shirt that said, The Great Howley. Now, for those of you, for those of you that don't know what that means, if you were in America, it'd be like using the N-word. Okay,
that's for the white guys.
Yeah, for the white guys, Howley. So I just put The Great Howley on me, and I'm going toe to toe. Well, in my version with Peter Maivia, and and Peter's so tough. I just take a bounce out of the ring, just catch my breath, see if I can see anything. And that's where what they used to do there in the Blaisdell Center, those Samoan kids, like they needed weapons, they'd break the antennas off of cars, which are telescopic, and as you came out, they threw them out, and they would come out and whop on the back, and you get like 12 of them. And then it's like, well, do I want to go back in there with Peter, or do I just want to stake the abuse from the 14-year-old 320 Samoan?
Whipping you with antennas.
Killing me. I told The Rock about that. We laughed. And then
he's a class guy. I got to put The Rock over. Yeah, he is a class guy.
You know what? I'll say something about Steve Austin. I didn't know Steve at all, and Steve called me to come and would I do his podcast. And I saw him do some interview, and I didn't know he worked territories. And, I got a new respect. Bottom line is I came and did his podcast, and that podcast, it's got over 1 million hits, that one podcast, I was told. And so this is what Steve Austin did. The guy that runs his podcast, his name is Norm, and he was having dinner with Norm, and Steve Austin says, you know what, Norm, or however he said it, you should give Piper a podcast. And then Steve Austin called me, and he says, I'll put you and Norm in a room, and you guys figure it out. Nah, that's class.
That is class.
That's class, man. And I told him that personally, And every once in a while on the show, like, because like I always go. Let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest, Hacker. Yeah.
Well, that's wrestling in general, ribbing on the square. I mean, it's just the way we are. And the one thing you and I both picked up a lot of heat off is when the Warrior passed away.
Yeah.
It was a shame the guy died. I mean, he was, had his wife, his 2 daughters with him. It's a tragedy that he died so young. But he wasn't the most personable guy when he was alive.
No.
Of course, after he passes, everybody, he was such a great guy. I said, no, he wasn't. No. He was a pain. He had an ego problem. He changed his name to Warrior.
Yes.
I told my wife, I said, I'm changing my name to Hacksaw. We'll call the girls Saw 1 and Saw 2. And we got so much heat. Why are you hating on the Warrior? Why are you hating on the Warrior? I said, I'm not hating on the Warrior. I'm just not going to change my opinion because the guy passed away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry he's dead.
I'm sorry for his
very
family.
Personal guy? No.
And one of the things, and we're not here to tell the truth. We're here to tell the truth. One of the things, just in simplicity, and again, for his beautiful little daughters and his wife, we give them, we give them nothing but the most, and would help them, and it's in our fraternity. They're beautiful people, I'm sure. But like the Warrior would say. And he was actually talking about myself, Hogan, and Flair at the time. Was these guys? He never mentioned my name. So like the Warrior was saying, these guys are embarrassing themselves. They should hang it up, and that thing. And then he changes his name to the Warrior. I find that a little hypocritical there.
A little bit, maybe. And of course. At the Hall of Fame, he's thank everybody for coming to see me.
Yeah.
About the 7 other guys, but shame he's passed, but the guy did have a little bit of an ego problem.
Just a little bit. Hacksaw.
And I'm not hating on the Warrior.
No.
If I was, I'd tell you this other story.
Say, we need a show together. I can't believe we're out of time. I love you with all my heart, man. And
good talking to you, Mike. As always, my friend.
Give everybody my love. I love you too. See you down the road someplace. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time now. If you get a chance, go to RoddyRoddyPiper.com. Got brand new Villain T-shirts there. Got my new Soda Pop in 67 stores now. You can get it autographed on the website. All out of bubblegum. You guys, Villain, going to go to the UK. I'm there in middle of July. And holy cow, we're gonna roll. We will see you next time on Piper's Pit.